This is 4 days of vegan meal prep, and every single day contains 150 grams of plant protein and covers all of your nutritional needs. That's vitamins, minerals, everything you need to be a healthy and fit vegan without protein powder or any supplements. And in this video, I'm gonna show you how to make it. You can download all of these recipes plus a full nutrition breakdown and a grocery list by clicking the link in the description. All right, let's jump in. So for this meal prep, we're gonna be focusing on a few key things. The first is that we wanna maintain a high protein intake, so every single day is loaded with over 150 grams of whole food plant protein without protein supplements. For two, we also wanna get in all of our micronutrients without supplements. So this entire meal prep contains everything you need when it comes to vitamins and minerals without adding any supplementation. So last but not least, every single day of this meal prep has a calorie target of about 2,150 calories, but I'm also gonna show you a way to adjust that down to about 2,000 calories. But depending on your specific body composition and fitness goals, you can adjust this calorie target as needed. So in this meal prep, we're gonna be making 4 days of food. Let's get started. So before we get started, it's really important to note that meal prepping does not need to take an entire day. In fact, I love getting in the kitchen, getting it done as quickly as possible, and then going and enjoying the rest of my weekend. So one really great way to be really efficient in the kitchen when it comes to meal prep is we can get started on the items that take longest to cook first. And that's exactly what we're gonna be doing today. So instead of jumping in and doing breakfast, lunch, and dinner in order, we're actually gonna get started with the meal that takes the longest first, and that's gonna be our lunch. So we're gonna get started with our lunch, which is lentil bolognese. To start, bring a large pot of salted water to a boil. While the water is boiling, dice up half an onion. In another big pot over medium heat, add the chopped onion, 4 cloves of minced garlic, and a quarter cup or about 60 milliliters of water. Cook until the onion begins to soften. Then add 2 teaspoons or 2 grams of oregano, half a teaspoon or 1 gram of red pepper flakes, half a teaspoon or 3 grams of iodized salt, and cook for another minute. Once our first pot is boiling, add 16 ounces or 454 grams of chickpea pasta and set a timer for 7 to 8 minutes or according to the package directions. While the pasta cooks, add to the onions and garlic 1 cup or 192 grams of dry red lentils, 2 tablespoons or 33 grams of tomato paste, 1 cup or 250 grams of tomato basil pasta sauce, 3 cups or 633 grams of vegetable broth, and 1 tablespoon or 16 grams of balsamic vinegar, then stir to combine. Crank up the heat to bring it to a boil, then reduce the heat, cover, and simmer for about 30 minutes or until the lentils are tender. While the bolognese is cooking, we're gonna get some broccoli florets started in the air fryer. These are totally packed with nutrients, and actually broccoli is probably my favorite veggie, and that's great because they're packed with nutrition. So don't forget to drain your pasta and put it off to the side when the timer is up. Now, if you wanna make the broccoli prep even faster, you can just buy the microwavable bags of broccoli, but I'm gonna go ahead and cook this from frozen. So to cook the broccoli, we're gonna be using an air fryer, but I typically would make broccoli right on the stovetop and just saute it in a non-stick pan with a little bit of minced garlic and some liquid aminos or maybe some soy sauce as well. I really like that method for cooking. But in case you are limited on stovetop space, you can just go ahead and use an air fryer. Dump your frozen broccoli into the air fryer basket and cook at 400 degrees Fahrenheit or 205 degrees Celsius for 5 minutes. Then shake the basket, salt and pepper to taste, and cook for another 5 to 10 minutes depending on how crispy you like your broccoli. Once the broccoli is done, remove from the air fryer and set it to the side. So we're trying to be as efficient as possible while filming this, and filming takes a little bit of extra time. So if you're off doing other things while you're also cooking, your cook times might be a little bit different. So just be conscious of how all of these things kind of fit together as you are making your meal prep. So for us, while we're waiting for the broccoli and bolognese to finish cooking, I'm gonna go ahead and start preparing the TVP for dinner. TVP stands for textured vegetable protein. It's a soy-based protein, and it's also really inexpensive and shelf stable, meaning that you can just keep it in your pantry. To hydrate, simply pour some hot water in a 1-to-1 ratio over the TVP. For this recipe, we're using 3 cups of TVP and 3 cups of water. We'll then let this sit for 10 minutes while we finish preparing our lunches. Once the lentils are fully cooked, add another 1 tablespoon or 16 grams of balsamic vinegar to the bolognese. This adds a really deep, rich flavor. Then mix it in and cook for another minute. All right, so we've got all the ingredients ready to go for lunch. Here's the pasta. We have a total of 926 grams, so 232 grams per serving because we have 4 servings. Your pasta might weigh a little bit more or a little bit less depending on exactly how you cooked it, but that's what we've got here. So I'm going to go ahead and divide that by 4. So we've got our bolognese sauce here. It's 1,320 grams or 320 grams per serving. Again, yours might be a little heavier or a little lighter, but it doesn't really matter that you weigh out it perfectly into each individual container. You can just eyeball it. I just want to make it exact for these calculations. And last, we're gonna be adding the broccoli. Now, I'm not super psyched about how this broccoli turned out in the air fryer, and I am going to make a commitment to never use the air fryer again for broccoli. If you don't add oil or some other sauce, in my experience, it tends to just get burnt. As a garnish, add 1 tablespoon or 16 grams of nutritional yeast. This is a great substitute for Parmesan cheese, and it's packed with vitamins, especially vitamin B12. To finish it off, top with some fresh parsley. That's it for lunches. Now we're gonna move on to dinner. All right, so for dinner, we're making TVP tacos. We have already rehydrated the TVP, so let's jump in and prep the veggies. We're going to dice up 1 onion and add it to a pan on medium-high heat. If you don't have a nice non-stick pan, you can add in a dab of salsa or a little bit of water to help prevent sticking. Next, we'll thinly slice 1 head of purple or green cabbage and add it in with the onions. Then take the rehydrated TVP, add it to the pan, and season with 2 tablespoons or 18 grams of taco seasoning. Cook for another 3 to 5 minutes, stirring occasionally. Next, chop up 1 tomato and a handful of fresh cilantro. Finally, drain and rinse 1 can of black beans and 1 can of corn. Once everything is done cooking in the pan, remove it from the stove and divide across 4 containers. Then add the black beans and corn, half a cup or 130 grams of salsa, and a 1/4 cup or 45 grams of fresh chopped tomato. Garnish with fresh cilantro and a 1/4 of a lime for some extra flavor. So I always have lemons and limes on my shopping list because 1, they add tons of flavor for basically no calories, but 2, they're also packed with vitamin C, which helps you to absorb iron from your meals. All right, so our TVP tacos are totally ready to go. When you're ready to eat these, all you need to do is take out your tortillas. You can either warm them up or just have them cold. And then you're also gonna take a tablespoon of guacamole. So we got some store-bought here. You could just have some that you already made yourself. So if we add the guacamole now, it's going to get brown and kind of go bad really quickly. So we're just going to add that every single day when we're ready to eat our meal. All right, so that's it for our lunches and dinners. Let's make breakfast. So for breakfast, we're gonna be making some tofu scramble. I absolutely love this dish. It's packed with protein, it's super simple, and it's also really nutritious. So let's jump in. To prep the produce, start by chopping up half an onion and add it into a pan on medium-high heat. Next, chop up 1 red bell pepper, add it in with the onion, and salt and pepper to taste. Let it saute for about 3 to 5 minutes. Then take 2 blocks of extra firm tofu and crumble them into a pan using your hands or a spatula so it resembles a scrambled texture. So I know it might look a little gross, but actually the best way of crumbling tofu is to just kind of squeeze it through your fingers like this. It has a really nice consistency, and I guess maybe you wouldn't call it crumbled, but it just works really well for a scramble. Sprinkle in 2 tablespoons or 16 grams of nutritional yeast, 2 teaspoons or 7 grams of garlic powder, 2 teaspoons or about 6 grams of turmeric, half a teaspoon or 1 gram of black pepper, 1 teaspoon or 2 grams of paprika, and 1 teaspoon or 7 grams of iodized salt. Saute the scramble until any excess water has evaporated and everything is cooked through. All right, so we were just talking off camera about measuring lettuce or other kind of leafy greens. When it says 4 cups, what does that actually mean? Are we packing it in? Is it just going to be kind of loose leaf in there, or are we shredding it up? What exactly is it? For this, I really like to pack it in, get 4 solid cups of greens in here, and you can decide to do whatever you want, but since greens are so low in calories in terms of their caloric density, it doesn't really matter if you have more greens. In fact, we're just adding extra nutrients. Once finished, divide the tofu scramble between 4 meal prep containers. When you are ready to eat, just heat it up and serve with some fresh green onions and 2 slices of whole grain toast and a clementine on the side. So that's it for our breakfast. As you can see, it looks super delicious. It's also really nutritious and packed with plant protein. We also have some clementines here. You would just have 1 clementine every day with your breakfast. We also have toast, but obviously meal prepping toast ahead of time isn't gonna work out too well. So go ahead and make some toast every morning along with your breakfast. All right, so that's it for our main meals. Let's jump into the snacks. All right, so our snacks for this meal prep are gonna be strawberry almond butter rice cakes. Now, typically I wouldn't make this ahead of time for 4 days of meal prep because the rice cakes are going to get a little bit soggy with the strawberries and the almond butter on top, but I wanna show you how to make it in this video. So I absolutely love nut butters, and almond butter is one of my favorites, but it is pretty high in calories for the amount of food that you get. So in just 2 tablespoons, which is 30 grams of almond butter, we have 200 calories. And this powdered almond butter, 2 tablespoons, is just 45 calories. So about 75% less in terms of total calories. And that's basically because they're taking out a lot of the fat content from this almond butter. So if you want to go ahead and take out about 150 calories per day and bring this entire meal prep to about 2,000 calories per day instead of 2,150, then you can go ahead and swap out the regular almond butter with powdered almond butter. For the rice cakes, add 1 tablespoon or 15 grams of almond butter. Then add half a tablespoon or 5 grams of hemp seeds to each cake. This is an easy way to add extra protein and omega-3s to the snack. Slice up 1 cup of strawberries and add them to your rice cakes. Any remaining strawberries can be eaten on the side. Honestly, it's kind of a pain to get the almond butter into the tablespoon and then make sure it's a perfect tablespoon, get it out and get it on the rice cake. So actually an easier way is to just look at the nutrition facts and see that a tablespoon is 15 grams. So I'm just gonna put this on the food scale, turn it on. It's gonna read at 0, and I'm gonna just take out 15 grams. So that's a little much. There you go, minus 15 grams. So this is a tablespoon. So that's it for all of our meals and our snack. Let's dive into the nutrition breakdown. All right, so as you can see, this meal prep is super high in protein with over 150 grams of plant protein per day, all for about 2,150 calories. And as I mentioned earlier, you could drop the calories down to 2,000 calories by simply swapping the almond butter with powdered almond butter. For me, this would be a fat loss meal plan because I generally burn 2,600 to 3,000 calories per day. But if you are less active and or a smaller person who burns somewhere between 1,800 and 2,100 calories per day, then this could be a really great meal plan for you to build lean muscle. To figure out your exact calorie and protein needs, you can use our vegan nutrition calculator that's on our website. You can head to thevegangym.com and click on calculator, or there's a direct link to the calculator in the description of this video. So as you can see here, we've exceeded the recommended daily intakes of all of our vitamins and minerals for the day. And one thing I want to highlight is iron. Our highest iron sources for this meal prep are broccoli and also our main protein sources, tofu, lentils, and TVP. We also got in plenty of vitamin C in this meal prep, which can actually enhance our iron absorption by up to 4 times, which is a really important consideration, especially for menstruating women. Let's also take a quick look at calcium. And soy is a great source of calcium. So we had tofu in the tofu scramble, that contributed a lot of calcium. We also had soy in the form of TVP, and that contributed a lot as well. As for B12, the nutritional yeast and soy milk that we use for this meal prep were both fortified with B12. And it's important to note that not all nutritional yeast is fortified with B12. So if you are relying on it to hit your B12 needs, then please be sure to note whether it's fortified or not. This meal plan has a whopping 65 grams of whole food fiber every day. And this is one of the most important benefits of maintaining a whole food plant-based diet, because fiber is absolutely key for preventing disease and also taking healthy habits. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, then I know you'll love our free plant-based nutrition course, The Plant-Powered Body. In this comprehensive course, I'll teach you exactly what you need to eat to burn body fat, build lean muscle, balance your hormones, improve your gut health, and much more. Just click the link in the description to get instant access. Thanks again, and I'll catch you in the next video.